Right there. That should be good. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Elite Aspect F1 here for round number 3 of the championship in the silver tier. We are, of course, taking in the Circuit Paul Ricard for the French Grand Prix. Of course, we are in the midst of qualifying right now as we got Cameron on a lap coming through the final sector. And we've had 2 laps come in thus far in the session. Of course, leading the way is Bart up there on a 30 flat. But can Cameron do anything about that as he comes to the line? And what's this going to be for the Haasman? Is going to be a just about 6 thousandths of a second separating Cameron and Bart there for the front row. Unfortunately, small little technical issues have been going on so far in the session. If you was at the start of the stream, there was a bit of an issue when the lobby host left, so we had a migrating host. So hopefully, like nothing bad happens. Unfortunately, the real Sal has left the session. Obviously, he is greyed out as well, which means that even if he does rejoin the session, he wouldn't be able to take control of his car, I would think. So that's the way it's going to go. But we're going to be on board here with the Biaggi as he heads down into turn number 1. Going to take us through turn 2 on this lap. Also, to get Paul Ricard around this 5.8 kilometer circuit as we head down into turn 3. Not really attacking the inside curb as much as what we've seen in previous incarnations of this game, but he is purple in the first sector. That could be purple on the whole session or just purple for him as we run down now towards the turn 8-9 chicane. I believe it is actually called the Minstrel chicane. So as we approach it now, breaking down, going very deep on the entry there is the Biaggi, but yeah, and he's backed out of it. He knows that he's lost way too much time in just that one corner. And in fact, he's going to back up, maybe go for another lap as we have the Alfa Romeo on a lap. We have the second Haas car of Razor on a lap. Actually, no, maybe not on a lap. It looks like he may be doing another installation lap. So we have to wait and see. And obviously, we got the real Sal asking for an invite back into the session. Yet, Sal, unfortunately, mate, I cannot invite you because I do not have you as a friend, and it won't let me invite people if they're not friends on my EA for some reason. Like, it won't let me invite to the lobby. Other than that, you are greyed out on the screen. So even if you was to get invited back into the lobby, I don't think you'll be able to take control of your car here in qualifying. Obviously, you might be able to for the race, but it just means that you won't be setting a qualifying lap, but you'd be in the session. If anyone else from the lobby is watching the stream, please make sure that you do get Sal a invite back into the lobby, because we don't want Sal to be missing out here due to what's called lagging out of the session. But Razor going for a second lap now, and I believe that was Ferry going up into P6 here with a 31 flat. So we're seeing a bit of a spread going on at the top right now. Obviously, Cameron and Bart there both on 30 flats. 2.5 temps back is obviously Fredesato. I am terrible when it comes to pronouncing names, guys. I do apologise. But Killer in 4th with a 30.7, and then of course we got the guys in the 31s, official JE, Ferry, LT, Tickle, M3, I believe that is how that name is going. And of course we got Deco in 8th, and then we got the guys in the 32s of Core and Tyronomy or Romoff. I don't know, guys. I am very bad when it comes to names like this, but I'm just going to go with Tyro for the McLaren MP10. A little bit easier. Razor, obviously, has set a lap, but it wasn't a quick lap, so we'll have to wait and see if we can get a fast lap going. Of course, we're still waiting for lap times to come in from Biaggi and Samibo. We also got Peligro. Hang on, that's an I, isn't it? That is a Peligro. So that's what Peligro, something like that. Yeah, we'll just run with that. We'll run with that when it comes to pronouncing names. If I do butcher them, I do apologise. But I'm saying it how I read it, and if I can cut it a little bit shorter, then I will try and cut it a bit shorter. But in terms of lap time so far, it is Cameron out on top. Of course, it is a short qualifying session tonight due to the fact that we are quite low on numbers compared to usual, so the full qualifying didn't really make sense given the fact that Q1 would have essentially been just a waste of time. As there we go, Pred up into provisional pole, and he has gone almost a second quicker than his previous lap time. He's gone around about 7.5 tenths quicker all in all, but he is up there on a 29.4. Fantastic lap from the Aston Martin. As we got official JE who's out there on a installation lap. We got the other Aston Martin of the Biaggi out there on the installation lap. I believe Samibo going to be coming into the pits this lap, I would assume. In fact, no, he's actually going to go ahead and cross the line. I would have thought with the fuel light flashing he would have come into the pits, but no, he's going to go to the line. And he is going to set a lap, and what's this going to be from the McLaren driver to the line? He'll come, and it's going to be a 1:31.3. So a long way to go, and he needs to hope that he has enough fuel to get himself back to the pits, and make sure he doesn't impede anyone else on their lap as well. As D Biaggi goes up into P4 there, so a good lap there from the second Aston Martin, as Sammy Rowe going to be cruising around to the pits, as we got official JE just missing the apex there through turn 1, compromising him through turn 2, as we head now down towards turn 3 again, missing the ideal line through turn 3, and it just compromising him through turn 4, but he's got hooked up now, and all he's got to do is put his foot to the floor as we head down to the chicane, and we're going to see if official JE is going to be improving on his lap time, as breaks down into the chicane, kisses the inside curve there, rides over the inside curve of turn 9, and is he going to be up on his previous lap time? He is, by a 10.5, as we head to the flat out turn 10, and absolutely lovely, keeping it all committed through there as we go through turns 11 now, and oh, that's a big snap on the rear there for official JE as we go through turn number 12, and again a big snap of oversteer for the Red Bull as we go through turn 13 into turn 14 now, and yeah, he's bailed out, he's into the pits. We got Cameron on the lap, he's a 10th up in the first sector as we head down into the chicane. He needs a good run here to make sure that he can improve on his lap time. 4 minutes to go in the session, so we shall wait to see if anyone's going to be able to challenge Pred there for the top spot. 2 tenths up, nearly 3 tenths up for Cameron through the middle sector split. How much can he find in the final sector though? That is what is going to separate him from Predley, who's currently out on provisional pole with a 29.4. 6 tenths is what Cameron needs to find. He found around about half of it in the first 2 sectors, but can he find any more through the final sector? That is going to be the key question for the final corner. Now comes Cameron to the line now. Is the Haas going to put it on provisional pole? No, he misses out by 2 tenths of a second, but he does improve to a 29.6, so puts the pressure on Bart and DiBiaghi and the drivers in behind to get a good lap in on their final runs. As lights telling us that the pole in gold was in the 28, so I mean if we do see a 28 that'll be absolutely fantastic, but yeah, if it is going to be a pole position, then we'll have to wait and see if anyone's going to be into the 28s. Well, obviously we're about 4 tenths off it right now with Pred, who's still in the pit lane. Obviously Cameron trying to get race back to the pits as quickly as possible. Killer just starting the lap. In fact, he's actually going to be going for an installation lap from the looks of it. In fact, no, actually he is starting a lap. Very late turning on his ERS deployment there, running down towards turn 1 in my opinion, but we're going to stay on board with the Ferrari as we run through the first sector. Really attacking the curves is the Ferrari, and that is what we like to see there from Killer. And 800ths of a second up on his time. And essentially, if Sal is still watching, I'm wondering if the reason why you can't rejoin the session, because I wonder if you're still watching. Sal, let me know in the chat if you're still watching as we're on board with Killer. Whoever the lobby has been transferred to in terms of the host, they will be the only ones that can send the invite. Oh, as Killer has actually invalidated there through the final sector, and it was actually looking pretty decent from Killer as he was going to cross the line. Let's see what this would have been for the Ferrari. It would have been an improvement, but obviously it wouldn't have been challenging for the top spots. Official JE going for another run. We'll come back on board with him a little bit later, as it looks like Razor has he's backed off his lap, or he's made a mistake somewhere. Sammy is about to start a lap. We got Deco out there on a lap right now. We got Toro, who is on a invalid lap. We'll stay on board with official JE. As official JE has managed to find 4 tenths in the first 2 sectors. This is good. This is going to get him up into P5, and if he finds more time in the final sector, he could be potentially challenging Bart and DiBiaghi. Obviously, Bart is out there on a lap right now. Obviously, he is in the Alpine, so we have to cut on board with him pretty sharpish as official JE comes through the final corner. And to the line will come the Red Bull. What's this going to be for official JE? It is an improvement, gets himself up to P5. Looks like Bart is not going to find any time. Who's going to be the next person across the line? It's a McLaren. Let's jump on board. It is Sammy, and Sammy's invalidated. Right, we got a Haas, and that is also an invalid lap time going through there. And behind him, I believe, yeah, it's Bart behind him, also invalid. Then we got the the Alfa Romeos. So I'm on board with Ferry right now, but also we got Pellegro ahead, so we'll see what time Pellegro can do. Obviously he is just ahead of Ferry out on track, coming through the final corner. Is Pellegro going to be able to pull the time out of nowhere? And it didn't look like he found any time, so I think Pellegrini must have invalidated his final run, and that is going to bring an end to qualifying here now. So, what's called Sal is back in the race and back in the session, which is fantastic to hear. But yeah, we'll run you through the order now going for the final results. Now leading into the race, it is Pred who leads the way, who is going to be taking pole position with a 29.4. It's a 29.6 for Cameron, who joins him along the front row. Then of course we got Bart in third with Biaggi in fourth, Official JE in fifth with the Killer in sixth. Ferry in 9th with Razor in 8th, Ferry in 7th, Razor in 8th. 9th we have LT Tickle, and obviously running at the top 10 we have Samibo. Then outside the top 10 we have Deco in 11th, Core in 12th, Toro in 13th, Pellegro in 14th, and of course Real Sal, who is now back in the lobby. Hopefully he'll be all fine to take control of his car. He should do if he's back in the lobby before the session has ended, so he should be absolutely fine to take control of his car once again. So Sal will be starting from the back in 15th place. I don't think it is going to be a Q2, Sal. I think we're going straight into the race. I think it's short quali because of the numbers. Just so you know, so you can be aware. I think it is short quali instead of the full quali. And of course, there is no formation lap. So thanks for putting that in the. As we go to those 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway here. 27 laps of the French Grand Prix await these guys. Let's have a look at the tyre compounds everyone's going for as Cameron and Pred side by side into turn 1. Cameron going to hang it around the outside. He'll keep the inside line for turn 2. But Pred going to hold it around the outside of turn 2. And Cameron will still maintain the inside line for turn 3. And he'll end up on the outside for turn 4. Needs the momentum. Maybe lunge it down the inside here. This is fantastic stuff early on between these two. Side-by-side action. And it looks like Cameron on those soft tyres just having the better grip advantage here and able to get that move done in the end. Meanwhile, in behind, looks like Bart under pressure from Dibiaghi, who is also under pressure. Pressuring his teammate as Dibiaghi 4 wide going into the chicane there. And yeah, Biaghi goes straight up into the race lead. Cameron down to P2. Pred down to P3. Bart down to P4. And you got Killer right in there behind as well. In the chat, Sal was saying that he's stuck with the default setup for this race. I don't know if that's true because he never set a lap in qualifying. He never left the garage and he didn't go out on track to my knowledge. So he should have been able to load a setup in terms of when he rejoined the session. But Biaghi leading the way as we see Sal now look for a move down the inside in towards turn 1 on Sammy, and Sal making moves and training himself well up the order. And that looks like it's Alfa Romeo that's gone around, and that is of course Ferry in the back that's gone around. I've gone back up towards the front to make sure that we get the overtaking action that we want to see between these guys at the front end. 27 laps. We're on lap 2 of 27. So now the race is in a bit of a moment where everyone now just kind of settles down into the race. The early lap chaos has happened, and now we're going to start to see just who's going to have the better pace all in all. And of course, while we are in this little bit of a slow period currently, of course, would like to bring up the standings, and of course to run you through how the standings are looking. So Perez is currently leading the Silver T Drivers' Championship on 43 points, and we got Hog, I believe that's Bagrini. Is it? Hang on. I'm checking to see if Pellegrini is a reserve or not. He potentially could be, I'm not sure, but we have a Alfa Romeo of Hoggery in P2 on 25 points, and I'm pretty sure that is not Pellegrini, but yeah. Def Knockout in third in the championship. He's on 18 points, with Cameron in fourth on 16 points. And of course we have Bart in fifth on 15 points, and we got Sal on 12 points, tied with official JE, as that is a fantastic bit of defensive work there from Bart, able to make sure that the Killer could not get through. But these guys have dropped off the back of the top three, and Cameron has managed to get himself back through with DRS. So yeah, Cameron back through into the race lead. But yeah, as I was saying, the real Sal and the official JE both on 12 points apiece, and of course we got Sergi LT Tickle, and then of course we got Gonzalino in on 8 points, with Tyro on 8 points, 7 points for Sammy, 6 points for Ali Bomber, and Gamer Giuliani in, well, he's got 4 points, so has Core Lemon, and 2 points for the Killer. And of course several drivers without any points on the board thus far, so the Aston Martins do lead the way on 49 points in the constructors, and the Alpha Tauris are chasing them down in second on 30 points. Ferrari's on 27 points, for the Alfa Romeos on 25. 18 points for the Haas F1 team, 16 points for the Red Bulls, 15 points for the McLarens, and 10 points for the Mercedes, 8 points for the Williams, and of course 4 points for the Alpines. Now that we've gone through that, back to the action, as look at this, Cameron trying to make a move around the outside of turn 10, and in fact he's going to try around the outside of turn 11. That's going to open things up for Pred now to go down the inside of Cameron, but Cameron will have the traction on the outside to hold this off. Lights in the chat saying that Pesci has pace on the mediums. I mean, here's the thing, like, historically the mediums are the better tyre around here anyway. So it's one of them ones where the mediums are the better tyres, obviously, because the softs you can't really, they don't last as long. I mean, I'm not sure how long they last on this game, but they never really lasted too long. As Cameron down the inside in towards turn 1, job done for the Haas, and that actually could be a mistake from Cameron to make that move right there, because obviously with both Aston Martins in behind them, they're both going to have DRS, and they're both going to have a good opportunity of overtaking the Haas down in towards the chicane. And now we're going to see it. Pred there down in P3, he will have DRS as well. Biaggi is already going to be making that overtake stick, and let's see if the Aston Martin in behind follows suit. No, Pred actually manages to keep cool, calm and composed, and doesn't want to risk it. But yeah, historically, the soft tyres have never been that great around here. So look at that. Cameron tried to go for a move. Got covered off by Biaggi. Biaggi, though, got a little bit out of shape. And look at this. Pred down the inside of Cameron in towards turn 12. Going to make that move stick there. The Aston Martin up into P2. There's an Aston Martin 1-2 in this race as we end lap 5 to begin lap number 6. Fred getting the move done on Cameron as Cameron getting a little bit too scrappy with Biaggi there for the race lead, and of course ends up losing out to obviously Pred in behind, and now Pred has overtaken his teammate, and I don't think that was particularly hard fought between the pair of them. I believe Fred was just given the green light to go, because obviously those medium tyres right now will have better pace than the softs, so understandable for Biaggi to allow his teammate to go here, and Biaggi's back through with DRS. And look at that, look at the grip that Pred has, and he's going to literally go side by side. In fact, I don't know, Biaggi surely he wasn't using some ERS through there. Probably was, and look at this now. Aston Martin's potentially going to do battle, but Pred's going to stay out of it. He's not going to try and go for a move on his teammate at this moment in time. Cameron is just sitting there monitoring the situation, getting ready to pounce if there's any funny business between the teammates. Killer still been unable to get the move done on Bart, so Bart kind of comfortably holding on to P4. Meanwhile, look at this. We got Sal and Pellegro side by side there as the AlphaTauri down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Is an Alpha battle going on for the final sector. Meanwhile, back up towards the front, Pred gets back through ahead of Biaggi. And I can't lie, if I'm Cameron, I am very happy just sitting in this train right now. Because realistically, Cameron just needs to make sure he has saves up his ERS. That's all he needs to do, is just save up his battery. Not use it, just let DRS keep you with him. Because every single time Biaggi gets back through on Pred, they have to switch. So Pred is never able to do what he should be doing right now, and that's getting past and dropping his teammate. And look at that, his teammate absolutely squeezing him to the inside of turn 10, and Biaggi gonna hang it around the outside, and he will hang it around the outside of turn 11 as well. Pred's gonna try and come back at him, and no, Pred now has to stick in behind his teammate. So this is the thing, like every single time Pred stays behind Biaggi, it's just helping Cameron, and that little bit of ERS there that Cameron's just used, obviously it's not really necessary. He's in such a good spot right now. All he has to do is just sit behind, save up his battery, and he's golden. Like, he doesn't need to be using, does not need to use any ERS whatsoever. And there goes Pred back through on Biaggi into turn 1, but Biaggi's going to get a good enough run that he can stick with his teammate to that DRS. So it's going to be one of those ones where Pred, all he has to do is just stick behind his teammate into turn 1. Don't go for the overtake. I know, actually, no, that is big. That is big, because that, I believe, a big moment from Biaggi there, losing the back end, and now Cameron has to use battery, and now Biaggi has to use all his battery. So now we're going to see Pred actually get away now, I think, because Pred has the ERS now to pull away, and he should be pulling away anyway on those tyres, as LT Tickle there picking up a 3-second time penalty, and that is not what he'll want to be seeing popping up on his screen. And now Fred, is he getting away though? He's not really pulling away from these guys, so maybe the softs are actually a bit better than I give credit for around this track. But historically the softs have never been a great race tyre around here, so we have to wait and see when these soft tyres fall off, because I would have thought they would have fallen off a lap or two ago. But yeah, Biaggi's had to use all of his battery. Cameron's got himself back up to 19% after using quite a bit. The flashing red light on the back of Biaggi is a good sign for Cameron, but Fred is just that he's not used ERS to pull away from his teammate, so he's just maintained his ERS, and he's maintained a good healthy amount of ERS, which is what you need to do. He knows his teammate is on literally nothing, and he knows he can get back from his teammate at any moment. So for Fred right now, he's sitting in such a good spot as LT Tickle is in the pits and retiring from this race. And of course Cole Lemon also retired. We didn't actually catch what happened to Cole Lemon there when he retired, but yeah, Cole Lemon out of this race as Sal gets through on Deco. And I think Sal may possibly also have a default setup, so the game might have absolutely done him over. I would have thought that because he didn't set any lap times or anything, instead of them having a default setup, they would have given him the ability to choose his setup, because he didn't select one. Cameron now into the pit lane as we begin lap 10. And that is going to be the hard compound tyres going on the Haas, which is good going from him. Sal also into the pits as well, and he's going to be opting for a set of the hards, that is for sure. And now we're going to see how good the undercut is around France. So Sal saying that he's racing with setup 4. So he has got a default setup. I would have thought they would have allowed you to select your own custom setup, because you didn't set a lap time, you didn't exit the pits in the first session. I mean, if you did, then I think that's why you're stuck with it. If you did exit the pits before leaving the session, then I think that's probably why you're stuck with a default. But lap 10 of 27, Fred leads the way. His teammate is just about hanging on within that 1 second, but he won't be for much longer. And Biaggi needs to come into the pits and respond to Cameron, and that is not the appropriate pit lane entry there from Biaggi. And the same there for Killer. In fact, I didn't actually quite catch whether Cameron or Sal came into the pits the correct manner. Same with the other drivers who have made the pit stop. I'm hoping they did, but that is not the correct way to enter the pit lane, lads. Interesting. Biaggi going for a set of the mediums, Killer going for a set of the mediums, and obviously with Cameron on a set of the hards. That means he's going to be a little bit compromised in terms of pace early on, but he has managed to get the jump on Biaggi, and he has a 1.5 second gap, which of course will fall due to the nature of just the medium tyres being quicker early on. But of course Cameron should be able to go to the end with little to no issues. So obviously the grid a little bit spread out now, but we're going to stay on board with with Biaggi, who is the man who is charging down, barreling down on P5 Cameron, as we are on lap 11. The top 4 yet to pit. Ferry, after that early spin, also yet to make a pit stop. Everyone else has made one pit stop. Pred is in. Now this is big. I think Pred's going to come out behind both Cameron and Biaggi here. So let's have a look here. Cameron coming through the penultimate corner now. Oh, it's actually going to be close. It's going to be close here. There they come through in the background. Cameron using battery to get away, and he is going to jump Pred. And Pred's going to be overtaken by his teammate as well. So Pred goes on the net race lead down to net P3. But Biaggi doesn't have DRS on Cameron. Cameron is stuck up behind Deco now, and with Deco it means that Biaggi should be able to get DRS, and he has got DRS, but now Cameron needs to get through, and oh, that is the wrong place to overtake Cameron. That was the wrong place to overtake, because look at this, Biaggi is going to get through. Cameron does not have DRS, and now Cameron's going to be overtaken by Biaggi, and now into the net race lead goes the Aston Martin of Biaggi. And with Pred there over a second back off of these two, they're going to be able to just pull away. Lap 12 of 27. Bart leads the way, but of course needs to make a pit stop, as Pellegrini in P2 also needed to make a pit stop. Biaggi up there currently in P3. He is in the net race lead, as Cameron is all over the back of him on the set of the hard tyres, and Pred, he's had to use all of his battery to try and catch these guys, but he just can't get close enough at this moment in time. And if he doesn't get close enough, obviously Biaggi on those mediums should have the pace advantage on Pred regardless. But Cameron keeping a hold of DRS on Biaggi is meaning that Pred is just going to be drifting further and further back, which is not what you want to see. And look at this, right? So the gap 1.2 seconds. Right, let's see what the gap is now, as the gap continues to grow, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 seconds there, just down that straight. And obviously Cameron not going for the move there, obviously looking to harvest a bit more ERS. Meanwhile, this battle for P7, I believe that was Killer getting through on Ferry. Up into P7 goes the Ferrari. There go, falling down the order, and look at that, Cameron getting all up underneath the rear wing of that Aston Martin. And I'm wondering, is Biaggi playing the team game? Is he going to try and back Cameron into Pred? That's the big question. Is he going to back him into it? Bart into the pits. He's chucking on a set of the hard compound tyres. This will be interesting to see where he is going to come out. And I believe Killer will jump him. Quite considerably, actually. Yep, Killer has gone through. Official JE. Oh, it's going to be close. The Red Bull is on the back of the Alpine. The Alpine tyres are a little bit cold, so Official JE does have a chance here to get the move done. Meanwhile, look at that. Pellegrini gets overtaken by Cameron once again in the worst spot to overtake. Cameron is now a sitting duck, because now Pellegrini's coming back at him. And look at this. Pred down the inside of Pellegrini, and that is just... Cameron is just not overtaking in the perfect spots. He's going for moves, and then he's losing out in the places where he's going from. If it comes to an option, if you're getting held up slightly by someone and your rival is overtaken, the best thing to do is obviously make sure that you have DRS. Like, do not give up DRS to go for a risky overtake, because that's exactly what's happened there. Cameron's gone for a move on Pellegrini, and because of it, he's lost DRS to Biaggi. He didn't have DRS down the straight, so he's already, like, immediately it's going to be under pressure now from Pred, who is now going to battle him for P2. And Pred down the inside into turn 1. And what we're seeing here is a lesson in just knowing when to go for the overtakes. Because we've seen that happen twice now with Cameron. He lost the position to Biaggi by going for a move into this corner right here. And this is before the detection point. He got the move done. It was a good move. It was a good overtake that he made, but he literally done it a corner or two too soon. And it absolutely, completely just wasn't the right call from Cameron. And because of the impatience of the Haas, he's lost out on 2 positions, both of them, to Aston Martin's here. So definitely will be a race to look back on from Cameron's perspective, and think, yeah, I probably should have just stuck behind and made sure I got DRS, because it definitely had the grip advantage. And of course, this is the only battle that we have on track right now. Here's Cameron and Pred. Obviously, we're on lap 15 of 27. Here's a Aston Martin 1-2 right now. Biaggi leads the way ahead of Pred in second, with Cameron in third. Pellegro in P4, yet to make a pit stop. Will this be the lap that we see the Alfa Romeo come in? And I believe it should be. No, he stays out again. Is Pellegro going to go for a medium soft strategy? That is giving up a lot of time out there on track if he is going for that strategy. Killer currently in P5, going about his race, doing well. But he does have Bart, who will, towards the end of this race, begin to close him down. Obviously, he's floating around that 3-second time penalty right now. Just give him a minute. The hard tyres a little bit fresher than the mediums, so of course the mediums will begin to drop off within the next few laps in comparison to the hard. So Bart should begin to rapidly close in pretty soon on the mediums. I think the mediums will go around about 10 laps before they really start to drop on pace. But of course, Killer being halfway there now, his tyres are a little bit worn. That I can tell you for free. Bart there in a comfortable P6 right now, as you got official JE. It was very close between these two when Bart made his pit stop, but it just wasn't meant to be. Meanwhile, up at the front, Cameron getting mightily close to Pred, but also not going for the move once again. So official JE obviously dropping back quite considerably from Bart. The real Sal, who is stuck on default 4 setup, so he's stuck on a default setup. He's currently going well in P8 right now, which is good going from him, but obviously you'll be disappointed that he couldn't use his own race setup here tonight. Sammy in P9, and oh no, that is Sal who has lost it. We just mentioned him, and he's gone around, and he drops down to potentially P10, as you got Razor there getting through. Yet Razor through up into P9 goes the Haas. The Alpha Tauri dropping down the order, and with a default setup, it's going to be difficult. He just needs to find that consistency now. Lap 17 of 27. Biaggi leads the way on a set of the mediums. The mediums will drop off before the end, so Biaggi will start to come back towards Cameron and Pred. But it's going to be a case of who's going to be leading between these two when that happens. If I'm Cameron right now, I am just sticking behind Pred, saving my ERS up, because come the end of the race, when you catch up to Biaggi, you can go for a double overtake and have the ERS to pull away. Like, that's what you need to do. Like, you need to make sure that you are saving your battery up. Obviously, both of them are using a little bit, and this is a mistake. This is a mistake from the pair of them. Do not use ERS. If you're Pred, you do not want to be using ERS. If you're Cameron, you do not want to be using ERS. You just want to be comfortably going about your race, saving your battery up, because you are going to catch up to Biaggi by the end of this race. You can see that the gap is beginning to close now. It's not closing rapidly, but it is beginning to close. As you got Bart now on the back of Killer. Pellegrini into the pit, so this is now the battle for P4, as Bart will go through up into P4, and is a comfortable move from the Alpine in the end. Also, guys, I'd like to get your opinions in the chat right now. Is both Pred and Cameron making a big mistake by using their battery? I want to know your guys' opinion. I think both of them using their batteries in the manner that they are, I think it's a big mistake. Let me know in the chat if you agree. Lap 18 of 27. Cameron still sticking behind Pred, but again on the ERS, it's not ideal. Killer doing his best to stick with Bart here, but of course with that time penalty, Killer will begin to fall away towards the end of this race, and actually that might actually give official JE a chance at a top 5 finish. So we're gonna see if official JE will be able to get himself up there. I mean, it's gonna be intriguing. As Lights in the chat says, especially on this track, it's mainly straights. Exactly. If I'm Cameron or if I'm Pred, I am not using ERS. Like, there's no need. You see there, Pred just using 5% on the overtake, and he's going to use another 2-3% just naturally down in towards turn 1. Cameron right now is sat on 10%. If he just keeps it, then no, you see that he's used half of it, a little bit of spurting of it, and he can't be doing that. Biaggi is on 10% as well. He's going to get a little bit of DRS now because he's lapping the McLaren, so Biaggi's going to be able to pull away slightly, and he's used so much of his battery again. So Biaggi's on nothing. Cameron's on nothing. Fred's on 6%. As look at this, Cameron tried around the outside at this. If I am any of these drivers, I am not using ERS as Cameron tries to look down the inside in towards turn 10. It is painful because I know these guys are going to be looking back at this race. They're going to be watching the stream back, and they're going to be seeing what's called me question the ERS usage, and obviously how that will be how obviously if they don't go on to win this race, obviously they'll look back and obviously listen to what's called some of the things that I'm saying from a spectator point of view. Obviously, because I can see, I got the information that these guys don't have. I can see what everyone's ERS is, and I can see everyone using their battery up quite considerably. But the thing is once you drain your battery, it's so difficult to really get it back. So if you are Cameron and you're stuck behind Pred lap after lap after lap, do not use ERS. Just save your battery up. And if you are Pred right now, and to be honest, I think Pred is doing. I think Pred might be listening to the stream, because he is not using his big snap. Actually, he did just use a little spurt of it, and he's using even more now. That is not what I was going to say. I think Pred was going to be listening and heeding the ERS warning as he tries to go around the outside of Cameron through the chicane, and he's actually going to be able to get this done. Perhaps no, Cameron coming back at him as you got the lap car of Toro there coming through. As Light says in the chat, it will be a fair race considering no one has ERS. It will technically be a fair race, but it won't be a smart race, is what I would say for that. It would be fair, but it wouldn't be smart. This is using this amount of ERS on not only just Pred and Cameron, but also from Biaggi in the race lead. Using the amount of ERS that they are, and they're not harvesting enough back. To me, I see that as a massive massive mistakes. Because Cameron could right now easily be on 40% ERS just from the laps that he's been sat behind Pred. He could even be over 50%. Now, imagine this, right? Because right now, those medium tyres are going to begin to close down on. Well, they're going to start to be closed in by Pred and Cameron. So Biaggi is going to start to lose time to these two guys behind, as long as they don't fight. And, you know, they just do what they do and, just drive casually. Like, they will begin to close up. Imagine if that happens, Cameron has 50% ERS because he's done the smart thing and the safety up in the background and just use the power of the DRS around here. Like, you don't need the ERS that much, you just need the DRS, that's all. As Light says, Bart closed up a second on the previous lap with them battling. Yeah, and that's another thing as well. If they push each other, and not, there we go, Bart with a 3-second time penalty as Pellegrini gets through on official JE. And that penalty is definitely going to come back to bite Bart, because now if these two continue to battle, we're going to have to see if any of them are going to be battling like that ferociously to really drop them back 11 seconds. But we're going to see. Naturally, Pred is beginning to close in on Biaggi. Biaggi has 10% more ERS than both of these two. In reality, both Pred shouldn't have been using whatsoever. When he was in front of Cameron, he should not have been using. Definitely not out of those corners and that. And same with Cameron. Cameron shouldn't have been using out of some of these corners, and he shouldn't have been using down the straights as much as he was. And what this has done is put them in a situation where they're going to close up on Biaggi, but Biaggi's going to have the ERS to defend now. And they're running out of laps. They are running out of laps. Obviously, the gap is now 1.7. They are closing in, but they are running out of laps to save a bit of battery up. They need to save their battery up. Oh, Biaggi still leads the way, 1.8 seconds. The gap, Pred in P2 with Cameron in P3. I've been very critical of the ERS usage, but it's because I know how it's going to go. I know how it's going to go. I know that the mediums are going to drop off towards the end, so Pred and Cameron are just going to close up naturally, and I just know that Biaggi's going to have a good opportunity to defend and take the race win, knowing that he has what's called 15% battery to the better right now. And obviously the grip is now in the favour of the hard tyres. You're seeing it right now as Cameron's picked up a 3-second time penalty, and that's essentially his race winning opportunity over and done with. It's going to be a straight battle now between the Aston Martins as it currently stands, and it is what it is. Meanwhile, the battle for the final point inside the top 10, Razor is closing in, and there we go. Cameron going to get back through on Pred, but now if I'm Pred, I'm not fighting it. I'm not fighting it. Just stay behind Cameron. Stay behind Cameron. Save up your battery now. That's what Pred needs to do. And immediately Pred is using a bit of battery and going for the overtake back down the inside. So both of these guys are going to be so low on battery compared to Biaggi. And speaking of Biaggi is low on fuel. An interesting little spot right there. Biaggi right now is going to be running out of fuel before the end of this race. Needs to do a little bit of saving, a little bit of lift and coasting, and yeah, but he does have 20% more battery now than Pred and Cameron, and this is what I mean. Like, you know, they're closing up naturally. They're not quite there yet because they keep using all their battery, and they have no ERS to really go through the final sector with. They're just losing time through the final sector because they do not have no ERS left in the tank. Cameron's going to have a look around the outside of Pred again, and of course they are going to be close to that 1 second window with Biaggi now. But look at this now. As for the final sector, we're going to see just the natural ability of just having a bit of ERS. We're going to see Biaggi begin to pull away slightly. Like, out of these corners, there you go, you're seeing it. You're seeing the little punches out of the corner, and obviously Cameron's had to use ERS to stick with Biaggi here. But you are seeing it on the exit of the corners. Just because Cameron does not have the ERS, he can't compete. But now Cameron does have DRS on Biaggi, and this is crucial now because if you're Pred, you know Cameron's got a 3-second time penalty. You know you're going to jump in regardless, so you're just hoping Cameron gets a little bit racy with your teammate in front of you. And the clouds are overcast here towards the end of the race. I don't think we're going to see any weather conditions play a factor, so I think we are safe. The top 3 are going to be dueling anytime soon. Cameron is using a lot of VRS, and yeah, he's just going to fly through. As this is perfect now for Biaggi. Absolutely perfect for the Aston Martin currently in P2. As look at this now, as Pred is going to try around the outside, but look at that, he's just going to pull away because he just has the ERS to pull away, and he's going to go down the inside again. So this is what I mean by having the ERS. And look at this, Pred and Cameron side by side, and Cameron's going to use his remaining ERS to try and fight Pred. Pred looking for a little bit of a switchback. He's going to get the better run out of the corner. He's going to use some ERS. A little bit of a lag spike there with Cameron as he just dropped off our screen slightly. Biaggi does have the unfortunate issue of being on the worst tyre right now, and he's going to get overtaken by both Pred and Cameron, and this is not a bad place for Biaggi to be, not at all, because he has got more ERS and he doesn't need to use it there. He doesn't need to use it there. Biaggi's used half of his ERS in the wrong spot. So Biaggi now all over the back of Pred, and now he is using his battery, and this is where it's going to be a mistake, because you are seeing Biaggi has completely used all of his ERS and he hasn't overtaken anyone. Oh, Cameron loses his car slightly. So there we go, Biaggi has used all of his ERS. He hasn't managed to get a single overtake done by using it all. Remember, he was on over 40% at the start of this lap. He's now down to nothing and he's made no overtakes. This is bad ERS management from Biaggi. He had such ERS advantage on these guys and he has completely thrown it away. Now he doesn't even have the grip advantage, so he is just going to naturally fall away now. But who's going to be taking the race win? Remember, if Cameron does battle Pred, that does give Biaggi an opportunity to take the race win, but now the big advantage that Biaggi had is completely gone, and Cameron is going to be patient and use the long straight down in towards the chicane as the opportunity to go for this overtake out on track. And look at that, Biaggi wasting a lot of his ERS and wasted his opportunity for a race win here. And yeah, he's just absolutely dropped away now from these guys. Might even have a puncher. In fact, he's had to let off only for his fuel. But Cameron will take the race lead once again. But right now for Pred, he knows he's got this race won. I think, yeah, Pred's going to try it around the outside. I'm wondering what's going on with Biaggi right now. He is... there's fuel saving, and then there's what's going on right now with Biaggi, because that is insane fuel saving, and it doesn't look like his car has run out of fuel just yet, but he could be literally about to run out any moment now. As Cameron, is he going to take this win out on track? Pred will have the DRS. It's going to be a photo finish, and yeah, Pred will just about overtake on the line, and it was actually 9 thousandths in favour of Pred crossing the line anyway, as Biaggi there comes home considerably off of where he should have been. Bart comes home in a comfortable P4, Pellegrini in the P5. Killer, it was comfortable for him in the end, holding on to P6, and in fact actually official JE did manage to close up at the end. But of course our penalties, just picking one up wasn't the way to go, as Ferry crosses the line in P8, Deco will cross the line in P9, and Razor will come through, in fact will be let through by Sammy, as Sal says, so frustrating in the chat. Of course, having to do this race on a default setup was Sal, and of course it was frustrating for him. I can assure you of that. Of course, the spin that he had early on didn't really help him out either, and yeah, definitely a race to forget for Sal. But in terms of the race win, it is Pred who takes the win ahead of Cameron, and it is both Aston Martins on the podium, but it so could have been a 1-2 finish for the pair of them. It absolutely could have been a 1-2 finish, and it could have been like not even a question. Cameron could have also easily had won this race if they had saved their ERS battery up. If they used the ERS correctly, it would have been it would have been great for any of them. But it is Pred who ends up taking the win. Cameron will come up in P2, Biaggi in P3 with Bart in P4, Pellegrini in P5, Killer in P6, official JE coming home in P7, Ferry in P8, 9th is Deco, and of course rounding out the top 10 we have Razor. Of course was let through by Sammy at the end. The real Sal picks up the fastest lap, but he's down in 12th with Tyro there coming in home in P13, and then our two non-finishers were LT Tickle and Core Lemon. So that brings an end to round number 3 here at the circuit Paul Ricard. It was a very interesting race, and obviously I think when the drivers look back at this race and they look at it back and they see what I was seeing, and I believe they'll be probably kicking themselves a little bit. But yep, that is the end of the race. I'm looking to see what we will be having next in terms of the championship. I believe the next race, according to the calendar, is going to be Spain. So yeah, next week we should be going to the Spanish Grand Prix. Later, if you're still in the chat, let me know if I is correct. I believe it is Spain, but yeah, we'll be going to round number 4 at the Spanish Grand Prix next time out. But of course, until then, guys, I've been Mike, and we'll catch you in the next race. Goodbye.